last 5 years. I mean, I want to really thank personally Cécile Kienge, Soraya Post, Gérard Depré, Jean Lambert, and Cornelia Ernst, who were the co-chairs of this intergroup, who have really put the money where their mouth is and turned the anti-racism diversity intergroup from a club of like-minded people into an anti-racist powerhouse in the European Parliament. And they've been able to progress on many files, and without them, and also Alfiaz, who has had the heavy task of coordinating all the efforts, we wouldn't have seen the European Parliament taking a stand against racist speech in the European Parliament, putting forward a report on anti-Gypsyism, having a resolution on anti-Semitism, and next week a resolution is tabled on the fundamental rights of people of African descent. So this has been propagated thanks to the work of the RD. From the institution, I want to flag out a few things among all what has been said. We've seen this working paper that has just been distributed. This is definitely a sign of moving forward and of renewed commitment of the institution for the next term to keep on fighting against all forms of discrimination. We're also very happy to have seen the publication of the guidelines about equality data collection, which is a vital step toward policies which eradicate racial inequalities in all areas of public life. It has taken us 7 years of relentless advocacy to be able to reach that, but finally we have moved an important step forward. And it's also very important to recognize over the last couple of years the increased intake on intersectionality, not just as a new buzzword, but really something that tries to change the structure of oppression and discrimination within our societies. So all these steps have been taken, and it's great to see this, and we need to have the time to acknowledge that, knowing that out there is a reality that is always over-exceeding the response from the authorities and giving us the feeling that we are always running behind and that it's never enough what we are doing, and that's true to a certain extent. So when we look at this bigger picture, and it's been mentioned also, the rise or the mainstreaming of polarizing narratives within society, what can we do together for the next few years? So, as civil society, I would start. I think that we need to absolutely be the critical collective voice against the creeping of racism and discrimination in the mainstream. And in order to do this, civil society must be supported structurally with funding on the one hand. Of course, we always ask for more money, as you know, but also with guarantees for the safety of human rights defenders. And more particularly for the next Commission and the next European Parliament, we need you to stand against racism and all forms of discrimination, because we know the strategies that populist right parties are using. Once they are in power, the first thing that they do is cutting the funding of all the organizations that are working on human rights. And they will say that, oh, you're criticizing people and you're using public money, so we cut. And that's the first thing that they do. And also another thing, stand for the laws. Don't believe that this clause of non-regression is just a pure fiction. When a government, and based on the will of the people, want to come back and dismantle laws, they absolutely can do it. It will take time, but they do. So I think it's very important that we keep on standing for the legislation that we have. The second, as government, but also as institutions like the Commission and the Council, it means really mainstreaming our commitment to anti-racism. And this includes in tough policies like counter-terror strategies and all policing practices. Discrimination is all over the place there, and we cannot really achieve Europe for equality and non-discrimination without looking into those hardcore issues. And beyond tick-the-box exercise like, oh, we did our fundamental rights assessment of the policies and no one knows what it consists in, we never see how it's being done. And in two words, I'm concluding. This week we are producing and launching our guide to implement the National Action Plan Against Racism. This is something that really allows for government that want to do something concretely to fix objectives, to be measured against, and move forward. We have good examples in Portugal, Belgium, and also Sweden and Germany, so it's time to mainstream these kind of approaches. And finally, for candidates and politicians, you need to keep on rejecting racism and be totally unapologetic about rejecting racism. This is about challenging rhetoric, not only from the far right. That's so easy. We know who they are, but in your own party, and specifically in progressive parties, where we see also mainstreaming of divisive speeches and policies. And afterwards, once you'll be elected, that's where really the fight starts, because we have to make sure that every law that you will vote, you have met your balance and your check, that it will not impede disproportionately on people with a different race, people with a disability, about gender, about sexual orientation, and so forth. So, as a conclusion, I would say, like, yes, we need all of you in this room. Whatever your role, you are important and you are key to the success of equality and non-discrimination in the EU. And as Soraya said, harnessing love, not hatred, and let's stand on our ground and help us each other to stand on our ground for the next 5 years. Thank you.